is ending.
Are you doing doctorate or what?
No, I'm doing my BBA.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
The fuck, man? I'm just fucking ancient in the scene.
I'm with you, Frost. I'm with you.
I'm too fucking old.
It's already shared though. I mean,
yeah. अच्छा शुरू और समय हमारे बोलो. Okay.
Frost, you can take the draft का पूरा call then.
अरे नहीं, just you guys just ask me lane matchups or something. I can help you guys.
Welcome back to the Alliance Cup. Right now we have game 2 of OP Newbies versus today on Korean server. Last game we did see a lot of domination made by Team OP Newbies. Maybe hoping for more of the same, the team right now in this game 2, but we'll see how that pans out. Hopefully, unlike last game, Team Korean server do end up giving better bans unlike the last game. So, Vishy, what are your thoughts on how this game is going to go?
Well, I'm already seeing improvements from Korean server. They banned the gangplank, and that's exactly what we want to see from the start as well. Like, ban the champions that they are good on, and hopefully, like, they have a better way of dealing with it. Having said that, OP newbies also have banned the Maokai, knowing that it was also a strong pick onto them. I like the bans coming out from Korean server. They're banning all the things that that did so well for OP newbies that game. So,
but they've let the Ramus through.
Ramus is being played by Bazigar, right?
Yes, Bazigar's used to be a one-trick Ramus main before he started to take up competitive league. So I think we're pretty sure that they would not have wanted to give him Ramus over there. So yeah. Okay, and I think that the Necton ban from the OP newbies is because he wants to play Fiora or some kind of aggressive matchup at top.
I guess you don't need any introduction, but we did forget to introduce you in, Frost. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have OG Frost with us in the commentary right now as well. So, big hands for OG Frost. If you're sitting at home, you can just clap alone right now in your room. That's the least you can do for Frost at this point. So, Malzahar and Vladimir picked up by both teams. Malzahar is one of those strong champions in this meta, but lacking the mobility aspect sort of right now, but his ultimate is incredibly dangerous, even if he gets you under his W and his E while his minion just keeps on smacking you as well. And Braum being picked up and the Ramus. Ramus obviously a very strong jungler. So, Frost, what do you think about the Ramus pick at this point? They let the Ramus go.
I think there's a difficulty, and I think there's a mistake in the draft because I don't know if the Sejuani ban was warranted, if the Leona ban was warranted, so especially considering that now that you see that they've picked up the Braum there. So I think they should have banned the Ramus out. It was more easier to ban the Ramus out. So now, especially because OP Newbies has picked up the Ezreal, they've opened themselves to a slew of more support bans in the second phase. So it should, I don't fully agree with the strategy, but then maybe they're more comfortable with Ezreal or none.
All right, and maybe Team Korean server are just not comfortable facing any kind of support in bot lane, so they try to ban everything out, but they've toned it down in this game. Like last game, they banned 4 support champions, and they toned it down to only 1 support champion in the first phase of the banning, and now they're going for more support bans, and they went for an Alistar ban actually. Maybe they don't want the engage potential that they have, because both support champions that have been banned by Team Korean server are hard engaged champions in the bot lane.
This is just OP newbies opening themselves up, to be honest, because if you want to pick a preferred support, then you should pick it in the first 3 rounds, otherwise you will get banned out. So it's just a test of, I think, Blastoise' champion pool to see what he can come up with in the present scenario.
Well, he played a wonderful Nautilus last time. I don't think why. There you go. He's just gonna
Like to be very honest with you, like Braum completely beats Nautilus. It's very hard to win against him. Especially if I was here, I could have taken like 6 Karma 9 could just pick a win and just profit from it because it's really good against all of their tanks, and the Braum offers a lot of protection at bot lane. So the once the laning phase ends, the Vayne will come out with a lot of items, or actually with even or more CS. I'm going for the Tristana.
Tana.
All right, so the Tristana being picked up by Team Korean server. Just like last time, when they did pick up the same AD carry champion, but they couldn't make really good use of her potential late game because they did kind of lose out the advantages in the early game. And now, in terms of how people are going to snowball in this game, which team composition do you think has the better early game? As soon as Deba finished picking up the champion, a talent pick.
Talent mid lane. Oh. Things
Okay,
are so interesting, boys.
Yeah, we have the answer to which team has more snowball potential at this point right now.
Snowball wise, yeah, definitely. The purple side has a lot more to snowball, but then blue side is just a practice comp. The longer the game goes, the harder it will become to kill them because they've just changed around. And if I do see correctly, 6 Karma 9 has swapped from the jungle role to the AD role. I think he has that better synergy going with Monkey right there. So I think now the bot lane color will be a lot more different than the last time. They'll be looking to snowball off the bot because Malzahar and Swain, again, very safe lanes. So it's very hard, punish them.
Yeah, in the top lane as well, we do see Vladimir versus Swain, like both AP champions going out, and they counteracting the AP damage with the Talon so that they can have more damage diversity so that they don't get built against, resistance is stacked against them. So Vishy, take us through the picks. What do you think about this game? How do each team's outlooks look?
Seeing the two AP tops is like a breath of fresh air because you're just bored either seeing tanks being played so often in all these tournaments. So I'm very excited. Yeah, I'm very excited for the Swain versus Vladimir matchup. I actually like the Swain pick coming out because I was wondering if you're going to pick a tank onto a Vladimir, basically gets a free game and he becomes annoyingly hard to deal with in the mid game. So the Swain pickup, not so bad because Swain himself has a lot of sustain and damage as well. So I like how the team fights might go for them. And honestly, like Frost said, right, this time Karma 9 is on a Tristana and Braum as well. So they actually have a positive winning or sort of at least not a lane I'll get poked out a lot. So we might see a difference in how the lane might be played out. Having said that, Ezreal is like Nani is very comfortable on Ezreal as a champion and I don't think he'll have any issues. It depends on what Blastoise does because last game he was just trying to ulti Tristana for no reason and Tristana could just jump away. So he needs to be smarter about it engages. And Bazigar is on his main champion, right? So people like you guys haven't seen this guy one time. You'll see this game exactly how he loves to play Rammus, and his gangs on the mid or the top lane could be very brutal. And
I think it's a really risky pick from today on the Korean server. They've taken the Swain top, and we all know that Swain, all the primary weaknesses exist pre-6, right? Because post-6 he gets his ultimate, the sustain increases tenfold. But now, against especially a Rammus, he has only one form of escape, and he misses his Nevermore. I think it's a free gank. So he might be, a victim of camping from Bazigar because it's a really, really weak matchup for him early on.
Yeah, it has to basically ensure that he doesn't push his lane too far to allow himself open to a Rammus gank. But the thing is, Rammus's ganks are so potent because of the fact that he can just rush into lane with incredible speed. And It's basically point and click. You just point and click, taunt on someone, and boom, they're just CC'd there for like 2 seconds. And being an immobile champion without flash, if his flash gets burned in the early game, he's going to be subject to a lot of camping and might be subject to a lot of zoning as well.
This game, we need to focus on like how much, Deba and Bazigar coordinate because the Talon wave clear and the Malzahar wave clear is roughly equal, but the Talon can still push it out with the rake. Like one rake will almost ensure that the whole minion lines down. And then he has to move. He has to go to the side lanes. This game, it's all about Deba and Bazigar working together to get their side lanes ahead, in my opinion.
Deba, there's a lot of pressure on Deba because he needs to play well. He needs to have an impact because in team fights, Talon might not have as big as an impact as a Malzahar would, but in lane and in small 2 or 3, 2v2, 3v3 skirmishes, Talon's ganking potential and roaming potential is probably going to help them snowball a lot. So they Korean server needs to be very careful in how they play out their lanes because they have scaling on their side. They need to remember that they don't need to make any unnecessary risks in the laning phase. Play your lanes out, get your items, get tanky enough, make the talent rooms useless, and just play safe. And if they're able to get out of laning phase without a lot of deficit in hand, then I do think that they should be able to slowly take over the game. So that's like the game. That's basically the in-game strategy for Korean servers, basically to survive the laning phase, not get too many deficits, and wait out in the mid game where their champions can have enough power spikes to do something about it.
Yeah, and right now at this point, it'll basically come down to how much snowball each team can capture in the early game. But one thing that I found interesting is that Korean server have opted for an Amumu jungle, something we haven't seen in this tournament yet. So what do you think about that? How do you think it's going to fare against Aramis at this point?
I think it's going to be slow initially, and it all, like I said, right? Because Bazigar, if he gets ganks off, because Amumu jungle is extremely slow at the start, because until you put points in your W and your E, because the clear is really, really slow, and he's very susceptible to counter jungle as well. But here, considering he has picked up a Ramus, Bazigar will be able to like get off a lot of ganks before the Amumu can prepare it. So I think like it's a risky pick, considering what is on the line here. But then again, in the team fights, of course, Amu will end up having a lot of big impact. It all depends on those bandage tosses, how he flash initiates, or goes for the carries of OPN.
Kind of reminds me of the good old days when Amumu used to be a hot contested pick, and I would pick Doran's Blade Tiger Rudier. And that would basically result in wrecking in terms of counter jungling and whatnot. But Rammus isn't primarily a counter jungler, so at this point it's all up to the jungler's ganking ability. Who makes the better decisions and whose laners respond better to the rotations in bot or mid lane?
I'm actually excited to see what path Rammus takes to start off and what lane he focuses on, because it'll be interesting to see where he plans to go. And as you can see, level 1, I think we might have some sort of a cheese coming. What do you think?
Cross invading each other on opposite ends of the map. It's pretty fun to see. They're basically today on the Korean server is going in because they have a Braum, and Braum level 1 is extremely fantastic because you can proc your ultimate, like you can proc your passive off of your Q on multiple people, and there's no reason for OP newbies to invade because the level 1 isn't exactly stellar right there, but they're still going just to, you know, get that 5-on-1 pick off. All because they thought that the Amumu would start blue. But considering that these guys also invaded, let's see, we still might get action because the Amumu is thinking whether he has to start blue or red.
So both teams went there, kind of went lukewarm on the invade. But then OP newbies deciding to stay back and actually take the blue buff. Meanwhile, Swain is actually making his way to the blue buff to check if it's actually there. He's going to find 2 members is suddenly doing it, and he does ping there, but there's nothing they can do about it at this point. The blue buff is pretty much gone. Mumu
that's a very important piece of info though, because otherwise the Amumu would just have blindly walked to his own blue and you would have found that it was taken. Now he can coordinate with his Braum and go take the opponent's blue buff. There's a good piece of info which they gained from that Swain walking up that pathway.
If that would not have happened, Amu would have been in a lot of trouble. Actually helps. He's able to counter jungle and get the blue for himself. So he's not set off that behind from that invade on from Rammus, and he should be okay. And he should be looking to level up as much as he can right now.
Alright, so interesting to see that Amumu has succeeded in picking up the blue buff, so does not actually, as Vishy said, he does on much in terms of XP. Not to mention the clearing potential, because Amumu is such a mana hungry champion in the early game. You do need that blue buff to get yourself through the clears. I remember back in season 3 and 4 when Mumu didn't really have too much problem in trying to clear, but now Amumu is incredibly slow in terms of the relative clear potential of the current jungler. The Ignite goes out. First blood goes out to Talon. What an incredible play. Spotting out the weakness in Malzahar. Goes and estimates the amount of damage he can actually do. Flashes in. Goes all in. Gets the first blood. Great play from Leba.
And that's like absolutely huge because Talon getting a solo kill, the snowball's already started. You know that he's going to move to the other lanes as well and snowball it off. It's really good for them. The solo, like you said, he anticipated his damage extremely well there. right down to the last tick of the ignite, and now God will reap the benefits because he's going to have a big lead in the lane now.
Might just get his Dirk on his back, and that he does. And it was so lovely, like well played. Like Malzahar did not even see that flash coming, and before he could even back off, he realized, oh, I'm dead. And that's something that people don't people don't realize. Talon's damage right now with the rake and the Q and the auto and the ignite is enough to actually kill him from outside. So very well played there by the ban. He's gonna look to snowball his lane even further. He has a selected Dirk, and there's no flash onto the Malzahar, so you could see Rammus potentially continuing the lane and getting making it even more difficult for the Malzahar to do anything right now.
I think Bazigar might decide to revisit the lane here and completely destroy Malzahar's game once and for all. Let's see. Deva is keeping the lane, trying to keep the lane his side.
And then
you can see there's a definite shift. Like TOKS is now completely shifted all their wards and their gameplay towards the bot side. They're going to use everything they have for, which is like even the Amumu's coming. If you see the wards in general, everything's placed around bot side.
Meanwhile, in top lane, we might have a gank coming onto the Swain. Meanwhile, he is an immobile champion. Taunt goes out. He already forced to flash away. Nevermore does root the Rammus, but Vladimir is going in, uses the blood pool, does get the kill. Great coordination from the top laner and the jungler to pick up the kill on the Swain despite the flash being burned.
And I love how Dead Corpse waits for and he moves along with the Swain, and he does so that even though Swain flashes, he's still in range to get his spells off. That's really, really good. And now this is the detriment of a Swain pick. Playing it against a Vlad and a what do you call it, a Rammus, it's really, really hard to get the lane off, because this way now even the Vlad's snowballing in a way, because he's going to get a good back. He did get the kill as well. He's going to hurt now. And now the Swain can just keep getting revisited because it's a free gank, the Rammus. Yeah. He has no flash, and the Rammus, if he decides so, he can just take his Krugs and go back again for a repeat gank there.
Yeah. TOKS did not listen to the game plan. He needed to play safe. The Swain was moving top without any, and it was actually pretty easy gank with Rammus had the river vision cleared out for him. So I think they need to start playing a little right now. Do not let this become an insane snowball like last game. They have stronger late game potential, and the whole game objective for them is to just play safe, and I don't think they're doing that right now. Both the solo laners died, and just like last game, again you see a kill onto Vladimir, you see a kill onto Talon, right? Both the solo laners of OP newbies have a kill onto them, and now they're looking to snowball the hell out of this game. So let's see how TOKS respond to the snowball this time. Will they end up just keep dying, or will they change the playstyle and just farm up and play a little safe? That's something we'll have to watch out for the next time.
The problem is the OP newbies bot lane isn't playing it that smart, because as you can see that the Ezreal has around 1500 gold in his kitty right now. He should, the moment he gets gold enough to buy a tier, he should coordinate with the support and push out the lane extremely hard, so that he can back and get that tier and start the stacking beginning. And meanwhile, I think
coming in all in from Vladimir, ulti's going out, a lot of damage done onto Swain. Might not be enough to kill him though. Flash is in, the stopwatch might just end up saving Swain in the long run, and he does escape with really low HP. Well, you don't really expect the stopwatch to be bought so early in the game from Swain, but I guess that was pretty clever. That was pretty clever from him, because he might have anticipated something like that.
I'm pretty sure
lane, a gank coming in, pull onto the Braum, taunts the
counter gank from
Amumu is also counter ganking. Tristana taken really low here. OP newbies trying to get the kill on them, but Rammus is now struggling to hold on to dear life right now. This team fight is going on really extensively, and both teams just walk out with no kills for either side.
Oh, that was pretty close right there. Misses. In the.
Your voice completely blacks out.
Oh wait, I was 1 sec. So yeah, Amumu was very good there, right on the counter gank right there. Helps right there, so that's pretty important for the bot lane at least, because if the kills had come bot lane as well, then every lane on OP newbies would have an advantage. So that's kind of important that nobody died there for TOKS, and hopefully they should just continue playing and getting items and farm on Tristana right now.
Meanwhile, Ezreal hasn't really backed off to get that tier yet, and it's kind of worrying at this point. It's already 8 minutes in the game, and if you don't start stacking the tier at the early game, at the earliest, as soon as you can, you're gonna have a hard time completing that mana immune and really lose out on a lot of damage potential that Ezreal can have.
Yep, that's going to come back to bite him later on in the game, because He's taking a hell of a lot of long to recall. Because he's just saying that because he's worried about losing that extra wave. But I think he should just coordinate with his Nautilus and push out the lane and just go back as soon as possible.
Yeah, now it's level 6, so Talon has to be a little careful. If he goes in, then
You have Mike.
and he would be in trouble.
He keeps blacking out. Mike.
Okay, let me just check 1 second.
Yeah.
As Rama spots out, the control ward put in a very interesting position on the red buff bush side. So control wards, okay, ping's going down on Amumu. They might have spotted him out somewhere. Yeah, he was putting down the ward and Rammus is just clearing it. A lot of pings going down in the mid lane. Both teams doing the dance right now, but no team willing to actually take the risk and to take the first move.
Blastoise is looking for a roam, but it will be countered and spotted by Monkey right in time.
Meanwhile, Brahms knows the Nautilus is in there, uses the Q to harass him. Well, in bot lane, Braum was actually proving quite a nuisance for OP newbies. Meanwhile, a trade coming down at the top lane might not go all in here, just a normal trade. So as I was saying, like the Braum really proving to be quite a bit of a troublesome champion to deal with in the bot lane for Ezreal because of that huge Q spikes. Meanwhile, Talon is rotating bot lane. In the top lane, we have a trade right now, but Team Korean server do actually get out of there alive. Meanwhile, Amumu comes in, the stun does land. Meanwhile, ult comes out on Amumu. This could be a fight right now. Ult goes out from Amumu as well. Talon forced to back off. Tristana gets the kill on Nautilus. Meanwhile, in the top lane, they've gone all in on the Swain. Vladimir ulti barely finishes off the Swain. So, trade in top and bot lane. So, both teams actually get fair square deals. And in the bot lane, they might actually could do the dragon, but they choose to push it up.
He's looking for a teleport. The game time is 10:39, 10:40, 41, 42. I think it's like it just reveals how the strategy is coming down for both the teams. Like OP newbies are looking to invest more in their top side this time. They want to get their Vlad ahead, and they are really trying to, and they actually are really punishing that Swain pick. 11, yeah, we're just 2 seconds. Yeah, and meanwhile, if we look at today on the Korean server, they're just poking everything in their Tristana basket. They want to coordinate plays of bottom lane and just move on from there.
Meanwhile, Talon might be caught out of position, but the Amumu is too afraid or unwilling to take a risk against a Talon who is 1 kill ahead.
Not only that, I think because Talon has a parkour as well, so he can escape really fast in those situations. And Vladimir is just now going down, like he started bullying Swain now. Now whatever Swain does, the Vlad's not going to take any damage. He has that completed item in the Proto Belt.
Hextech Revolver and the Hextech Proto Belt. And in terms of sustain, Swain being a very sustainable champion owing to his ultimate, he's actually sustaining for much less than Vladimir at this point.
Yeah, and now slowly, like he's going to get bullied under tower, as you can see, like Deadcall putting down the hurt. It's really hard to lane against a Vlad who's in front of you, because the Vlad will just auto push you inside tower for like the rest of your life. And even if you gank a Vlad, it's like literally next to impossible to kill him with the pool and the flash. And he might actually in this situation turn around and kill you in one day, considering that the Amumu has no magic resist on him.
Meanwhile, trying to go all in. Meanwhile, Tristana actually made a mistake in terms of going all in on the Rammus. And meanwhile, again, we see another tower dive coming in from Vladimir. This time, Swain might be able to sustain it. Vlad forced to back off as Swain does manage to stave him off using his ultimate.
Yeah, but then all of these trades are still good for Deadcalls, right? Because he's not a mana resource dependent champion. Man,
yeah, he can just heal it back up.
Mana is slowly getting whittled down one after the other. These kind of engages are not safe for him, and I don't think Amumu is going to come anytime soon to give him any aid because he's at the bottom side.
I'm really enjoying how Vladimir is just trading into the tower, doesn't give a damn. And it's just really well played by Deadcalls too, actually. He's making the full use of Vladimir and using all his abilities and being as aggressive as he can be.
That's like what he's supposed to do, because at this point now the Vlad is not killable. You had that your window to gank the Vlad, but now it's just beyond it. Considering
that 2v1 situation,
he's got to outbully him. And now because Swain has no teleport as well, he's going to lose that big fat wave at top. And it's just going from bad to worse for him in the game.
And even if you gank the Vladimir at this point, he can just kill the Swain and the Amumu all by himself.
Exactly. And now with that Spectre Skull's purchase, he's unkillable. At least to the Swain, it's just not going to happen.
Now both the Mumu or the Swain can't do anything about that. I think TOKS need to find a way to either build an Executioner's Calling or a Morelos ASAP, because Vladimir needs to have some sort of healing reduction on his team. So they need to look to prioritize as well. Otherwise, in fights, Vladimir is going to start owning everyone, and his damage will be a lot, and he simply will not die unless you get something like an Executioner's Calling. So it just gets harder, and they're basically on a ticking time bomb to be able to start doing something. Otherwise, the Vladimir will take the tower.
Meanwhile, the flash coming in, Talon is in big trouble. Not sure why the Tristana altered him away, but glad that Malzahar did manage to get him with the E. That could have gone really south for Team O.
But to be honest, like, that's pretty desperate stuff, considering that Malzahar flashed for that and the Amumu flashed for that. So unless TOKS is able to get mid turret in this trade, it's really not worth it, that kill. Let's say.
They might be able to.
They get the first tower. That act of desperation might have actually paid off for them, because now they do have access to the first tower, and the kill also goes on to the Malzahar, who obviously needed that to get.
That's a very critical tower for them, because it gives, like, now Newbies have to invest a lot more than Vision, because considering losing your mid tower as the first tower, it's really hard, because the amount of vision loss you gain, like, you have to undergo because the mid tower is gone. It's pretty hard to come back from.
Yeah, it is. And right now, the only true bully for OP Newbies is just the Vlad, who's just pummeling the Swain under his own tower. Meanwhile, most of the matchups in the mid lane and even in the bot lane, if Rammus isn't involved, are kind of equal, if so to speak. So, the entire
I'm pretty sure
game
Vlad is trying to set up a gank on fake faces here. Yep.
He does go all in again. Let's see if he does have enough damage to make it count. Might dive under tower.
This time the Talon is also coming to help him, so I think fake fish should be dead here unless he outplays. He uses his W, and now he has no way to escape, and Deba should just kill him now. Oh yeah.
Forced to flash away. Talon also flashes in. Ulti comes out. Easy kill. I'm not sure if that flash was worth it though. Swain was already driven out of the tower. Might have gone for gold, but Swain isn't really worth much gold at this point. When they pushed Swain off the tower, Talon could have just rotated back up top and just gotten the turret. Might not have been worth wasting the flash. Meanwhile, Rammus taunts the Amumu. Ulti comes out from Malzahar. He's in full combo right now. Rammus gets melted across the face, and then Talon also trying to kill the Malzahar as well. Vladimir outputting a lot of damage. Stopwatch does come out from Malzahar, but it's only going to delay the inevitable. Malzahar does get picked up by Dead Corpse.
And we're just seeing all that. Oh, that's a really nice stall in at top. The heal barrier against them though, let's see.
We have a flash coming out from Restriel. Oh my god, the Q of the auto attack just barely enough to finish off Tristana. Meanwhile, Nautilus flashing in. They want the kill on the Braum. He might just pull in here. A lot of poke coming out, but they managed to basically let the Braum go.
And that is just disaster, because everything had been invested in the bot lane from TOKS, and now they end up getting 2v2 kill. It was a really nice mystic shot from Nani before the auto attack that ensured them the kill. And now, considering that the Ezreal is getting ahead as well, it might like be the final lane in the coffin for them.
Yeah, and even the Talon got like a few kills in the skirmishes that followed preceding that fight at bot lane. So right now at this point we can safely say that all three laners for Team OP Newbies are actually in a position to bully their laners out of their lane and basically take their turrets. Like, as you can see,
just bullying it at this point. Like, he's playing the lane perfectly fine.
You can see at this point the Swain is being dove under turret, but Amumu comes in to stun this land, forced to flash away. But red team do secure the dragon in the meantime.
But at what cost though? That because the Vlad's not going anywhere from the lane, he'll just stay there and he'll keep getting the jungle pressure at top. Meanwhile, OP Newbies is free to do what they want on the other half of the map.
He has a red buff as well, so he can keep sustaining there, not to mention his own Q, but that's just too much amount of sustain. He should be able to take slowly whittled on a top tower right now.
And the Amumu does not have any magic resistance, so he's getting a lot of damage taken.
Every auto is hurting him as well, and yeah, that's just like 4 or 5 autos to the top tower to go. I think Dead Corpse is enjoying playing that right now.
He's having a field day with Vladimir at this point because he's just unkillable, plus he's dishing out insane amounts of damage and sustaining everything that Team Korean server can actually put out against him. Meanwhile, we are seeing a fight against Vladimir and Swain in the top lane. Amumu
might
is
see him go down at top, or he might turn and fight them both.
He is trying to juke them out, but Amumu
now the Swain is out of mana. He's completely out of mana, and Bazigar's here, and he sustains it.
That ultimate coming out, a lot of damage dealt on Vladimir, but he has so much sustain at this point that he's just sustaining his entire damage.
Oh, he does get him though.
And with the auto, as you mentioned, he does get him with the auto. Rammus is hunting for blood right now. He wants revenge, but does not get anything out of it. The taunt blurring out, and then the crow basically slowing him down.
It took them so much time to kill the Vladimir, and he's just finished his spirit missile right now.
If it was hard, yes, exactly. If it was hard killing him before, now it's next to impossible.
Yeah.
With the and another very important thing is that nobody in TOKS has an ignite. The Vladimir will just be unkillable in team fights.
The only thing that they have
they should look for an all-in at bottom. They're just giving their tower for free.
Yeah, well, at this point, Team Korean server.
Yeah, nice. That's a good teleport. They are looking for a play at bottom. They should just start the Braum and just go from there.
Talon is coming as well.
The ult is going on with the Tristana. Ult comes out from Braum.
Now the power of the Vlad in this fight will be just amazing to see. There.
But Malzahar does get to melt out the Talon. Meanwhile, Vladimir just incredibly obliterating everyone that is in the lane. He cannot be messed with at this point, but they want blood. They want the Rammus, they want the Braum dead. Rammus was going in for the chase, but they decided on not going for it and then opting to settle on the turret.
Yeah, this game is going from bad to worse at this point. The Vlad just got another 2 kills to add to his kitty, and on top of everything, the lane is pushing towards his own tower. So he didn't lose anything for that teleport on the opposite half of the map. And it's just going bad because now everything TOKS, they have to invest in dealing with the Vladimir. And if you're investing everything for the Vladimir, that means the Ezreal is hitting free. The Talon is hitting free. So it's just going from bad for worse.
Couple right now as well, and that's the red. Trying to get off his red, but is not able to, and gets his red stolen as well. So Amumu is getting difficult right now. He can't even go to his own jungle and take his camps, and OP newbies are just trying to invade and make use of this advantage and trying to basically open the map and invade as much as they can. So they've been playing really well so far, and I just want to see how well they are able to now snowball this lead and take off the objectives, because now that they have like a dragon as well, Baron is also up. Like how do they invest in vision? What kind of picks do they offer? Something that we would want to see, and see how basically they're able to close out this game, because they have a pretty decent sized goal lead right now.
I don't know why Bazigar is trying to initiate.
Is actually trying to go in, but does get caught out by the Malzahar ultimate. Gets wrecked in the process. Meanwhile, they're turning on the Nautilus. Braum's Q is already down. Stun goes out. Meanwhile, this can be a kill for Tristana. It is a kill picked up by Tristana. And the OP newbies actually playing it a really too aggressive right there, as we've seen in game 1. When they have a lead, they kind of have this tendency to actually go ham at the most.
I think those actions primarily came because they thought Swain was at base. They didn't really anticipate that the Swain would be walking along with them, but this might lead them to a second tier tower, and now they're slowly throwing away their lead.
Tristana's pushing power is insane right now. Like, she can whittle on turrets in a matter of seconds, and that's actually like a pretty significant deal for Korean server, because that allows them to quieten down the pace of the game, and they get some gold onto their carries as well. So the game might not be over as we might have thought initially, and because Malzahar himself is actually quite strong, and if he gets items, he's another carry that you actually cannot just avoid. So even though they have a Vladimir on their team, they have a Morellonomicon Vladimir whose healing reduction at 40% HP will help them to deal with the Vladimir. So I'm liking how this game is going, a lot more even than the first one, and maybe this might be decided on who makes the right individual plays at the end of it.
I think the right play here is just to send I don't know what Deba is doing, but yeah, the right play should just be to put the Talon and the Vladimir to the side lanes and just let the Ezreal scale hard from the center, from safe laning. There's no need for them to do anything flashy at this point, because the Ezreal is ahead. Right now, Ezreal has a major damage spike. And even though Tristana has 2 items, the Ezreal will be hurting a lot more because he's finished his mana immune really fast, and the Triforce as well.
So the late tier of the goddess building did not really hamper his timing of the mana immune at all, because at 23 minutes, that's a pretty good deal. Right now, they might be looking for initiate on the Braum. Braum uses this Rift Scuttle speed boost to get away in the nick of time from Nautilus's Q, and pings are going down on the Dragon. They want to go for it, but they're also pushing down mid lane. They might be hungry for towers, because at this point, Team Korean server are on equal terms in terms of tower counts. They're 2-2. Meanwhile, Braum initiates on the Vladimir. Might not be a good idea. Team OP Newbies re-initiate back. Swain is in there, right in the middle, smack dab, going in. Meanwhile, here comes Tristana. 3-man ult comes out by Amumu. Nautilus gets taken down. Meanwhile, Talon comes in. Gets knocked out by Tristana with the ultimate. Tristana is obliterating everyone at this point. Vladimir struggling to sustain this. Meanwhile, Vladimir does get the Braum, and triple kill comes out for Ezreal. Mana immune procs being going down. Malzahar does a lot of damage with the stopwatch. Does end up saving Ezreal. That was so much going on in that fight. I almost
that fight was beautifully played by Nani and Deadcourse. Deadcourse, like I told you, he's just too big at this point to be put down. They use everything on him, from Braum ults to the Amumu. Nani managed to get out of the Amumu ult. He didn't get Amumu ulted.
Yeah,
and after that,
he
played that really well, in fact, the whole fight. Even the use of the stopwatch at the end, it was really good.
Very well mechanically ability played there, and I was actually wondering, I think the team fight was going to go in favor of TOKS, but somehow Nani and Ezreal and Vladimir actually managed to dish out enough damage and play safe from his side and do damage. So that was actually
the difference maker there was because Ezreal had a red buff on him. The damage output from him was a lot more than the Tristana. He hurt them consistently, and now at this point of time, the Swain is really behind. He's 2 levels behind. He is around
100 CS
behind. So
getting the same horizon right now.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, that Tristana was really hurting in that last fight. As we saw, Talon did go all in, but meanwhile, Nautilus might force to flash away to save himself. That was saying, the Tristana actually did a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Mazigar coming in with the Rammus gets stunned immediately. Meanwhile, he has to use his ultimate. We can't see another fight coming out. Braum, it is curtained for him. It's actually interesting to see how if item minute unprequel for open. Meanwhile, the ult comes out of Vladimir.
He's not gonna die. He has pool still. He still has pool. He still has everything going for him.
He uses the ultimate, and that's a lot of damage on him. Malzahar gets taken down, the last tick of damage from the Vladimir ultimate. And it's just so insane that Vladimir can sustain so much damage at this point. 7 to 8 auto attacks from Tristana and a full ult combo from Malzahar isn't enough to take him down. And the team on Korean server, they're actually struggling to find answer to what they can do against this Vladimir.
And now it's just going like Vladimir is just unkillable. He's going to try to all in the Tristana, and he will succeed if he has his E up. Oh god.
And he does get shut
amount
down.
of fight investment is just unreal at this point of time.
Gives an important shutdown goal to the Amumu, though. Having said that, there was also the requirement.
It's really not going to matter because they lose Amumu ult for it, and now they can't convert that into a Baron. Yeah, so they killed the Vladimir, but they're not going to get anything on the map of that, and he's going to spawn in 28 seconds. So unless they get the Baron this point of time, it's just not worth it. The Amumu, yeah, he does get some much needed gold, but that flimsy Locket of the Iron Solar is not going to help him. The amount of damage coming out of Vladimir at this time is just too much.
I think at this time though, this is where the mid lane kind of changes up, where you thought the talent could end up snowballing. I think this is the point in game where Malzahar is going to have a lot more impact onto the game, because his space aids, rather, his malefic visions is going to hurt a lot no matter who it's on. So
if I was in their position, like OP Newbies, I would just take fight after fight at this point, because the Vladimir is a beast, and the Ezreal, he is spiking right now. 3 items completed. The DPS coming out from him alone is just too much. I would not look to fight right now. I don't know why the Tristana is jumping. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm in the cafe, so I'm sorry. I'll just keep pushing up.
So at this point, Tristana has been trying to get a lot of picks because he is doing a lot of damage, as you can see. Nautilus dying to that engage right there.
And it's not the first time Nautilus has been picked off, to be honest. Even in the last the last time actually OP newbies managed to counter act that.
Meanwhile, again, they engage on the Vladimir, and they are wise enough to not use any sort of ultimate on him. Just fight. Meanwhile, Swain does get caught out. Flash taunt coming in, a lot of damage being outputted onto him. Ezreal finishes off the kill. This might be curtains for Braum and Tristana. Meanwhile, Amumu goes in. Ultimate comes out. 2 members of the team stunned, but still, Tristana is doing a lot of damage, and Vlad comes in. This might be curtains for Braum. Tristana being chased upon here, has to use the rocket jump away, but he is going to also be systematically taken down, and right now Team OP newbies have a free doorway to the Baron.
There you go, that's a wonderfully played team fight right there. Nani, Ezreal's damage is... With 3 finished items, he's basically melting Amumu at this point.
Another very important thing is that the Braum used his shield in the reverse direction. So what some DPS which he could have stopped, he wasn't able to stop there, and that's just not excusable at this point, because you have to get that shield up in the right direction. He put it up in the reverse direction. Maybe it was a moment of panic or something. But yeah, I think hopefully he should recover from that. But now the Vladimir has 4 completed items to 2 from Swain, and one of those is a Spirit Visage. So it's just not happening right now for TOKS.
He's just a tank at this point. He can soak up immense amounts of damage and dish out equal amounts of damage as well. And at this point, I'm not sure as to how they're going to counter the Vladimir. This is just getting a way out of hand for Team on Korean server. And the Rammus even, he's built up a Thorn Mail, so he's going to hurt Tristana back. As Tristana, she will auto-attack
I don't know if you noticed this or not, Red Pro, he rushed the Thorn Mail even before, I think. Just completed his Sendarak and went straight for the Thorn Mail. It's been there on his person for a while now. The thing is, like, right at this point of time, just because of the sheer amount of, damage that the Vlad is soaking. And I really love the Oracle Alliteration buy from Diba, because he is an assassin. He knows he needs to initiate fights from those invisible portions of the map, which he is securing for himself. It's pretty good to see.
Well, a turret push coming in, Baron empowered minions are tearing that tower down, already to 25% HP, not even contributed towards the damage. But meanwhile, Malzahar lets out an ultimate against Nautilus. Not really sure what that was about. Meanwhile, the ulti comes into Tristana. Nautilus always ulting the Tristana and Vladimir from behind. He's just using Q after Q on the opponent team and just trying to whittle their HP down, and they have no answer for it.
There's a lot of confusion coming out, because I think the Vlad was calling for a dive, but so I think the Vlad was calling for a dive, and he did not have the minion wave on him. And yeah, that was a waste of a Malzahar ulti, because even if you get a pick on the Nautilus, he's not the main damage dealer at this point. Somehow I think that the Malzahar has to reach, and they have to burst the Ezreal down, because Malzahar does not have a QSS yet.
So now it's just being fights for vision control in the jungle. Right now, today on Korean server, TOKS can't even enter their own jungle in peace, because they might just face check against a Vladimir who's just hungry for more blood at this point. And it's kind of just sad to see them confined to just one middle lane, trying to defend with their lives for that inner middle turret, whereas like 10 minutes ago they were the ones
trying to take down. Like, this is really poor Baron usage from OP newbies as well, because they could have used that Baron to snowball 3 lanes of pressure at once. This way they didn't get anything from the Baron. And now if you see that the Tristana has got that Mortal Reminder, and the Vladimir is not going to heal as much anymore, because he'll have that X-Skill passive on him every time the Tristana auto attacks him. So I don't think that was the optimal usage of Baron. They could have used it a lot better.
The key to TOKS's success right now is Tristana. You have to just protect the Tristana from all the CC and engage that the team OP newbies have. And if Tristana sustains in the fight long enough, she's going to be able to kill every single one of them in the opponent team, barring Rammus maybe, who might survive longer than a lot of the other people, because he can just use his W and just soak up a lot of damage. Plus, Vladimir has a lot of HP as well. and the Grievous Wound might actually cut off a lot of his sustain. While it does cut off a lot of his sustain, the HP count on Vladimir is insane at this point.
Deva has to play these fights really well. What target does he select to go on, whether he's able to get them or not, it's all on him right now because team fights. Because the Vladimir, yes, he will soak up a lot of damage, but he's going to take an equal amount right now because of that Modern Reminder sitting on the Tristana. They have to completely, if they insta burst the Tristana's, like right now, you see how the Tristana is just dueling him.
Yeah, like half HP, like 3 auto attacks.
They just have to send the Vlad and to a side lane and the Talon to another lane. And that should be simple pushing for them. There's no reason for the Vlad to be with the team right now.
They're doing a mid lane dance at this point, and Tristana is actually hitting very, very hard. And once the 6th item gets completed for Tristana, it might be really problematic to actually stop her. Even look at Talon. He picks up way too much damage, forced to ult out, even to survive. Tristana is on a roll.
The Tristana is online right now with 4 completed items. The team fights are not going to be as simple as it was easier for OP newbies. They need to play it really smart right now. They need to have the right engages. Otherwise, this might end up being in favor of TOKS because we have actually reached 35 minutes into the game, and the and the Malzahar and Tristana do have enough items to be able to do a lot of damage. And
Flash comes out.
Fail flash right there by Momo and then missed right there. So that doesn't help their case at all, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, against an Ezreal, you always know that there's this chance that his Arcane Shift might be up, so you don't really flash and try to engage. Meanwhile, Vladimir tries to teleport, gets rooted by Swain. A lot of pings coming down. Mid lane, we have a fight coming out. Amumu is the one who's being taunted. Malzahar, also Rammus. Meanwhile, Talon tries to go in for the Malzahar, but the stopwatch does end up saving him. Tristana outputting a lot of hurt on the team at this point. Double kill comes out from Malzahar. Vladimir's the only one in the bottom lane trying to kill the Swain, but the Swain has a lot of sustain at this point as well. He might even still have a lot of damage because the Swain is out of mana. He's just soaking turrets forever, and 1 Q heals him for like almost half his HP. But right now, Team on Korean server pushing out to mid lane. Vladimir has to back off and defend with his Nautilus. Otherwise, this might be curtains for them, but Team on Korean server decide to back off and push maybe the top lane. That was a wonderful fight. Tristana really coming into play right there. The damage output from her is insane at the late game, and if she gets the 6th item, it's going to be more difficult for Team OP newbies to even come back from that.
The lack of QSS and the lack of Mikhails from the Nautilus is really hurting OP newbies at this point.
Yeah,
now he's finally won bot one.
Yes. Deva went on to the Malzahar the last team fight. Malzahar is Zonyad right there, and ulti was completely useless right there. And the thing is, the teleport stop that Swain did actually helped out a lot, because in a 4v4 setup without Vladimir, it's very evident that the Tristana basically is now at a point where she can outdamage the entire team OP newbies. So it's gonna get a little difficult, and they need.
Should just rush Baron. The moment they see, like, they need to rush Baron and fight with the Vlad, because the Vlad is the key. He has to buy all the time, because now Tristana has a GA. They can't take a 4v4 fight any longer.
They have to kill the Tristana twice right now to even like stand a chance of winning. But that won't be a problem if the Tristana gets caught out in the first time. But meanwhile, Talon tries to engage, gets caught out by Mumustan, has the ulti. Invis coming out, vaults over the wall. He triggers the Baron, takes a lot of damage. The last attack of Baron goes to Braum.
Rosh, what do you think about that engage onto the move?
I think he thought that he was alone. He was trying to take like a little bit of damage. I don't think he loses a lot. He can just recall and come back. Again, like right now, the rotations are just slow from the OP newbies. The TOKS people, they smell blood and they're calling for Baron instantly, but I don't think that's a very good call. Considering if they even have a single ward on that, the Vladimir is going to hurt a lot more than Amplified.
But they can simply rush it down. Look at the damage from Malzahar's Voidlings, and it's Baron for them right there.
Yeah, the Baron for them, but the Vladimir
he's going to
engage in, and the combined damage from Malzahar and Tristana way too much for Vladimir despite his tankiness. And for the first time in this game, Team OP newbies are actually looking very much on the back foot.
And
At this
that
point,
might be the last put for them because they're just going for the end right now. It depends on how the team fight.
A flash ulti by Braum might set up the kill on the Talon here. Invis is out, but that's not going to save him from long. The Rammus is sustaining a lot of damage here as well, but the Tristana is just dishing out so much damage with every single auto attack, and this might be game for team on Korean server.
So stellar comeback from the TOKS guys, and I think it was just poor Baron usage from OP newbies that cost them the game.
And the Tristana playing a pivotal role in that comeback.
Yeah.
yes.
Alright, so guys, exciting high-octane matches going on. That comeback from Team Korean server sets up the game number 3 for OP newbies versus Team on Korean server. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after a 2-minute break for more League of Legends action. Stay tuned.
Saru.
Okay, guys, welcome back to Alliance Cup, game number 3 of OP Newbies versus Team today on Korean server. I keep saying team on Korean server, but it's actually today on Korean server. So, after last game where TOKS actually made a very good comeback, it's time for them to actually find redemption for the first game and try and actually win this one and win the entire series, in fact. But Team OP Newbies won't be able to actually let them go that easy because they will be out for revenge due to that comeback as well. So it's going to be very, very intense, this game 3. All right, so coming up to the bans, we see that Gangplank and Sejuani have been banned by the team on Korean server. And obviously, it points to the fact that they still are reminiscing the haunted memories of the first game. They're still not confident about playing against those two champions. Meanwhile, Braum and Tristana, the core champion that gave them so much trouble in the second game, Team OP Newbies decide to ban it out, and there's also comes a Vayne. Along comes a Vayne ban. That's kind of interesting to see. Maybe they're fearing the late game potential of the AD carries that they faced in game 2 as well, so they don't want another recap of the situation that they faced. So they're banning out all the late game ADCs right now. It's going to be interesting to see. And of course, the Vladimir, who's playing an incredibly pivotal role in the beginning of the game 2, has been banned.
Hey guys, Bishi here. I'm back as well. Sorry for the delay. Yeah, looking at the bans right now, it's very interesting to see the Braum ban. Basically, they did not want to deal with the Braum in the laning phase, and the reason why they banned it out. The Vayne ban is quite interesting, though I wasn't expecting that to happen. And meanwhile, we have actually seen a twist in tides right now. It's today on Korean server. OP Newbies have actually picked out the Malzahar this time instead of OP Newbies. So that's basically like a steal away from them because the Malzahar actually played quite well. His ultimates were important in helping them get the win. So I actually like the stuff coming out from OP Newbies. Quite smart. They banned out the bot lane of Korean server, and now they're playing. They stole away the Malzahar mid pick as well. So quite interesting to see that happen. I think that might be very interesting in terms of how mid lane will go now.
All right, so right now we see that the bans are pretty much centered around the fact that Game 1 and Game 2 had the effect that Game 1 and Game 2 had on both of these teams, because almost all the bans except for the Vayne are based around strong champions that dominated along in this series. And Matt Squarepants still opting to take the Amumu despite the shenanigans of the last game might just have more confidence in the fact that Amumu can scale into late game despite the horrendous early game that he had to go through.
Yeah, and the Morgana pick this time is quite interesting too. That gives them a lot of catch potential with the Morgana Q as well as the Mumu Q right there. So I actually like this pick coming out from Korean server right now. And we might even see a Lux pick in the middle, which is quite interesting because that gives them a lot of bindings. Like there's basically 2 snares on Korean server side. Having said that, Lux does not scale in terms of damage as well as Malzahar does. And unless she has her bindings and picks, it might not be that strong in the late game for them. So the compositionally already I can see that OP Newbies have drafted a very strong, like a late game composition. The Malza and the Ezreal can also deal a lot of damage. So interesting to see what the jungle picks might be coming out for OP Newbies and who might they be playing top. I'm guessing they're probably going to leave top for the counter pick this time. So the bans coming out against Jarvan from Korean server, probably they don't want Bazigar to play that in the jungle because that's a very aggressive laner that they play. And I may think they might end up banning the Ramis, or they might leave it up considering if they're not that worried about it from last game because they were.
It's actually a Gragas coming out team on Korean server.
The Gragas ban, I'm guessing that they are pretty much okay with letting them get the Ramis. That means they're not really afraid. And considering they have a Morgana and a Lux, like a Ramis is going to have a really hard time trying to gank these lanes because the spell shield on Morgana is basically like, okay, you can't do shit to me right now in lane. So I think that they are not afraid of them getting the Ramis pick. And I like the double ADC bans as well from OP Newbies. Basically, they're banning out everything that G Karma9 can possibly play. And this makes it a little hard for them to pick out an AD that can do really well. Because the lane bullies are banned, the late game scalings are banned as well. So let's see what G Karma9 ends up taking at the end of it.
Meanwhile, Dead Corpse is now trying to pick out a champion. Might not wanted probably to go for the Maokai or the Vladimir, but all of them are either banned or picked. Noah Gangplank is banned as well, so he might go for the Aurelia.
He's more likely to play a carry top than play a tank top, but let's see, his Vladimir is banned, his GP is banned,
and right there,
Aurelia.
Insta-lock of Rammus. Like, they're like, of course, if you leave out Rammus, we're picking him 100%. We're just going to insta-lock this champion right now.
That's pretty interesting right now. Like, Aurelia, however, does not have an insanely great lane against a Maokai. Unlike a Vladimir or a GP who can like late game scale up to be monsters, Maokai can actually duel an Aurelia well into the early level game, and like it might hopefully Dead Corps can probably like face roll onto Maokai, but that's something that we'll have to see. Meanwhile, the Twitch pick coming out from G Karma 9, and that's very interesting because that gives them that sustained like the insane damage that this team is lacking in my opinion, and now they have it. So I'm very interested to see how this might play out. The Twitch and the Morgana should be able to help the Twitch in helping with the early game as well, getting Twitch to the late game as well. Basically gives a very strong late game on the side of Korean server as well. So I'm very interested to see how this might play out because both the teams seem really good right now, and the Aurelia, it depends a lot on how strong she gets and whether she'll be able to 1v1 the Maokai towards the end of it. So that is something I'm looking forward to see personally, and that is something that I think will be an interesting match going forward because the Rammus pick as well. Like, let's see if Bazikers can keep up the same momentum that he did the last game, in ganking the bot lane, getting the Vladimir kill as well. And he was certainly more impactful than the Mumu last game. So we might see a repeat of last game where you're seeing Bazikar having a strong early game impact and being able to roam around the lanes and gank well.
Both teams have incredibly good pick potential, especially team on Korean server, because they have both bindings and an Amumu's long-range stun that can actually pretty much get anyone on the opponent team. But their optimal target should be either Malzahar or Ezreal. But Ezreal has an arcane shield that he can use to pretty much get away from any sort of those skill shots. So they might be going for the Malzahar. However, they have Taric and Rammus pretty much covering up the front there. So in terms of pick-wise, I think follow-up-wise or protection-wise, I think Team OP newbies have a better chance of picking off any sort of squishy champion because Twitch and Lux are both immobile champions. So they're pretty much ripe for the picking if they can get any of them caught out of position.
Having said that, they do have a front line and a movement Maokai, and if I'll be honest to you, I actually like the team comp coming out from Korean server in the late game as well. They'll basically play from the back line, and who's really going to dive on to the Lux or the Twitch? Like the Aurelia might do that, but there's a spell shield from Morgana right there, right? And there's also a movement Maokai to give the sufficient disengage as needed. So it's again, like I think the game is stronger on the laning side for OP newbies. If they're able to snowball this time and get a massive lead, I do see them taking the game. However, the later this game goes, I would have to give props to at least some members on the Korean server team because the Twitch, like, do not underestimate Twitch's damage, right? Even before Taric can use his ult and start it, like Twitch will be able to burst down the carries pretty easily. So I'm looking forward to see how this laning phase plays out because how the lanes go will matter a lot, and depending on that, we'll be able to know if OP newbies can snowball this again like they did the previous game, and will they be able to close out like last time, or will Korean server again survive the laning phase and not like make a comeback like they did last time. So we're in for a very exciting third game of the bronze match of the Indian qualifiers, and I'm looking forward to see how this goes.
I'm looking forward as well. Okay, so guys, there's a straw poll that's going on around in the chat. Who do you think is going to win? Do vote on the link that has been given. And as we were discussing, basically, about the pick potential of both of these teams, I didn't say that one of them should dive in. I was thinking more about getting caught out of position. So if, for example, Lux or Twitch make a very aggressive play like Reckless did in Worlds, they might be in very deep danger because both of these champions are immobile champs and they can just follow up and just kill everyone on the opponent team if they manage to get one or two of the carries out of the way, because the damage is coming from both Twitch and Lux here, Twitch being the mainstay of the damage forefront. So if you can take out the Twitch first because of bad positioning, OP newbies can actually pretty much guarantee a win. But that might not be happening because Maokai and Amumu have immense peeling potential. Maokai with the ult and the root, and obviously Mumu with the ultimate as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how the skirmishes play out in the early mid-game transition periods. And if any team can try to snowball it's going to be pretty much team on Korean server, because once Twitch just gets rolling, just obliterates everyone in team fights from afar with his ultimate.
Yeah, if by any chance Korean server gets a snowball going, I don't think there's going to be coming back for OP newbies. OP newbies have to get a lead in the early game. They have to have at least 1 or 2 lanes winning, and the Twitch needs to be like kept in check. He should not probably get fed right now. So they're looking to see if like how the bot lane plays out. And yes, positioning is key here, because all of the team fighting that Korean server has to do, it's basically dependent on how well they position themselves. Because if they get caught out even once, then you can definitely assume the Irelia, Malzahar, and the Rammus are going to jump on you and kill you, and then there's nothing anyone can do to like stop them from happening. So positioning is key, but we have seen in the last couple of games that Blastoise has actually gone out to ward solo, and he has been picked off. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time, and hopefully they are the ones that can make the picking this time, because they have the tools on their arsenal to be able to deal with some of the pick potential that Korean servers have themselves. So I'm very looking forward to seeing how the laning phase goes, because both the teams seem quite equipped this time. The Irelia is also a great pick, but I do see the Maokai having a distinct advantage if you can build the right items. Like I would rush Tabi in this case if I were me, and see if I could get like a gank rolling, because a Maokai and a Momo gank in Irelia, I think they should be able to kill them pretty fast as well. And a Maokai can actually do well to survive a Rammus gank too. So in terms of options, again, like the Malzahar level 6 should be an important key here. For Malzahar can flash ult Lux, and the Rammus can follow up with a Q and a taunt. I think they should be able to kill that. So positioning is key. I do like the cleanse pick that the Lux has taken, knowing that the Malzahar and the Rammus are going to jump at her, and she would need that to run away from these things. So this could possibly be anyone's game. An interesting thing to see here is that Twitch is running Kleptomancy himself, which basically means that he's also looking to scale up as soon as he can and get the extra goal that he needs, but he won't have any stats in laning phase to do well, so he becomes a little bit squishy in the laning phase, but has a trade-off of being having a faster power spike on his items.
Is Twitch actually running Kleptomancy though? Because in my screen it's showing press the attack.
My bad, I saw press the attack, man. I assumed that was Kleptomancy. The icons look a little similar. So
yeah, because it's so tiny in the screen.
I couldn't see that properly. Never mind. Press attack, he's not looking to scale, he's just looking to be strong from the get-go. And press attack is what I expected him to take, so I'm happy that he did that.
Yeah, and in terms of level 1 pick potential, team on Korean server can actually pretty much legit go for an invade. Yeah, and they are going for one. The binding does land. Rammus, he is not being able to flash out because of the chain CC that team on Korean server did. That's just what I was mentioning at this point. And first blood does get picked up by team on Korean server.
One of the main win conditions for OP newbies was to get the area lowering. However, when you get a Maokai who's able to basically get first blood, makes his life a little bit more difficult for them. The good thing, however, is I think he knew he was dead, so he couldn't even flash out. But he does save his flash for later ganks, which could help them. And I think OP newbie should have seen that gank coming, because you have a Morgana and a Lux and an Amumu and a Maokai. Like, how do you win that level 1? You should just play safe, ward up, and go back. And I don't think they respected the level 1 coming out from Korean server. As a result of that, they ended up basically giving away a kill onto the Maokai.
That's basically right, and judging from the vision control that they had back when the game first started, they just face checked the bush and they got promptly punished for it, because at this point, come on, Morgana and Lux, both of them have bindings, long range stun from Amumu as well. You should pretty much see that coming from a mile away, that the team's going to invade your red buff, because that's where you usually start as a jungler. You want your bot lane to leash you so that you can get a smiteless leash, you have smite for the next buff, kind of helps out your jungle clear. And that's what they predicted and gone for. Now Rammus actually making an interesting rotation to Amumu's blue, perhaps to cut off Amumu's supply of the blue buff, so to make his jungle clear less effective, charging up the roll. Doesn't seem to go for it. He's coming mid lane. Lux taunted out, but the binding saves him just in time, and the level 2 gank falling flat for Rammus. It's going to send him back behind just a little bit. And meanwhile, Irelia hits level 2 before Maokai trying to zone him out of the CS lane. And that's actually pretty crucial that Rammus actually did a level 2 gank and putting up pressure in front of Lux while Mumu was calmly taking the blue buff. I mean, Mumu is level 3 right now and he can get up to actually gank any lane he wants, even though he doesn't have any opportunities at this point. Rammus is slowly going to take the blue buff while he's taking the wolves. Meanwhile, in trades going down in mid lane, not too crazy. But so far so good. Nothing too crazy aside from that first blood from the invade by Team Korean server.
I'm not sure what the thought process there was to gank level 2 when they knew he had cleanse. I'm guessing he's probably gonna do a repeat gank soon and try and get this thing. Or TOKS has taken a bad hit by taking 2 tower shots, but he should be able to be fine. The laning phase, I think like Lux did a good job with the cleanse, and Amumu's just farming up right now. So that gank, although nice, it does burn the cleanse, but it does nothing really change apart from that. I don't know if he's planning to come back again because Lux is just gone for a back, and she might just get another Doran's ring and a pink ward. So she knows that her win condition is to play safe and not give anyone a kill, and I think she's ready to do just that.
Yeah, pretty much standard plays coming out from both teams, playing it safe, playing it not too risky, not too shabby. Meanwhile, top lane again tickling each other to death. We've always seen that happening every single time. And in the bot lane, interestingly enough, Twitch and Morgana have pushed up Taric, and it might just leave them open to a gank by Rammus, but it's not coming anytime soon. Meanwhile, an engage on the Taric. Taric's gonna sustain a lot of damage, gets taken down to 25% HP. More binding comes out. No follow from Twitch though.
Yeah, the Morgana pick is actually really helping out the Korean server because they're able to counteract the...
Meanwhile, we see a flash taunt coming in from Rammus. Maokai forced to flash away as well. Rammus' presence is actually pretty... He's making his presence felt across the map in terms of mid lane and top lane coverage, burning the cleanse in mid lane and then burning the flash up top. Meanwhile, Mumu still has to make an impact in the game. Let's see what he does when he hits level 6 though.
Amumu is just playing invisible at the moment. He has not made any sort of ganks, but I think he's just looking to level up so far. I like the ganks, however. The top lane, the flash from Maokai has gone at the cost of his own flash. That gives more leeway onto Irelia, who's anyways playing aggressive and she wants the kill, right? I think she's gonna back and get her Sheen right now and just try and like trade even faster and try to get the kill because I don't think Maokai has enough tanky stats at the moment to go back and buy something. I think he probably is waiting for either his Bami Cinder or his Thornmail or his Tabai, so I don't think he has enough in his arsenal right now to buy something. So I would wait to see if that happens. If Irelia goes back and comes with the Sheen, then he has a stronger power. She has a stronger power spec then to be able to do damage. And without a flashless Maokai, is just going to be the right opportunity for her to go level 6 and get the kill onto her, or onto the Maokai.
Yeah, and Mumu trying to get up to top lane, but really always the recall. So Mumu decides, I just wasted my time, so I'm just going to recall the base.
The good thing, however, is that Amu does get a pink ward onto the blue side of OP newbies as well, so that gives them vision about the blue side of the area, so they will have an idea if Rammus is on the blue side or not. And there is an on my way ping by Amumu onto the mid lane. I'm not sure if he's trying to go and get to the Malzahar. Considering he has his shield level 6, probably not a good idea, and Malzahar himself is looking to take a back right now and probably get to his items as well, because he hasn't taken a back yet.
Yeah, and Amumu goes back to base, picks up the jungle item and a Ruby Crystal to aid in the health pool. Meanwhile, in bot lane, another engage coming out. Taric being harassed out of lane consistently by the Twitch. A lot of damage output coming in. Rammus has to help his lane because they've been pushed up for quite a bit right now, and Rammus is making that prompt attempt to come in.
But the thing is, Ezreal is without mana and like Taric is 20%. I don't know what good this gank will do to the bot lane. I think he decides against it anyways.
Yeah, he does decide against it.
Yeah.
But that should have happened much earlier because this hasn't been pushed up. It's not like it hasn't been pushed up for long. It's been pushed up almost since the beginning of the game. Rammus could have focused on bot lane, getting the level 3, and then, trying to get the Twitch out because Twitch is an immobile champion. You need to focus down Twitch and not let him farm, not let him harass you. So that he doesn't get that early advantage.
Yeah, agreed. I think since similar to the last 2 games, right? He's ganked his mid and top. He's trying to get them ahead. This time, however, his ganks, while they have netted some sort of summoner spells, unlike the last 2 games, they have not netted them kills so far. So this game a little more even in the mid to start off, and not as snowbally as we thought it'd be. So I think he should probably look to focus the bot lane because the Twitch is gonna keep scaling up faster, and the Ezreal and the Taric do have enough tools to be able to deal with the gank if he chooses to go and gank. So let's just see what he does after he takes his Krugs.
Amumu also does makes the right decision of hovering around bot lane so as to counter Rammus's ganks, and that kind of pushed Rammus back to base because he knew that there wasn't any opportunity to actually gank. So that was pretty good. And meanwhile, Amumu coming in, Malzahar might be in trouble. Stun doesn't land. Meanwhile, top lane, Maokai taken very low. This might be a kill. Flash burn by Irelia. Flash is down for Maokai. Remember, the kill does go to Irelia. He almost dies to the turret shot. Escapes with a silver
Oh,
race.
he survives. He survives with like less than 10 HP right there. Really well played by the area. Him having the flash and Maokai doesn't is the big difference, that he's able to capitalize and get that kill onto the Maokai, and he loses a lot of CS right now, which I think he should be able to catch back up on if he uses his teleport. So that's very well played.
God, the comment.
He actually gets him with the comment as well. Oh, that's very well played.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about yesterday. Like, the Comet just puts an end to the fact that you don't have to suffer for 10 HP escapes by your opponents anymore. They can just get obliterated by the Comet straight up. Like, haha, you can't kill me, and then the Comet just goes, boop, you're dead.
That was so close. Irelia almost died on the top lane as well due to Maokai's plans, but somehow she survived that, and she comes back with the Phage as well, so she's looking to snowball the top lane. However, the kill onto the Lux actually is a very big deal than you might think, because Lux now has more damage than the Malzahar, and if she keeps poking out Malzahar like the way she has been in the game so far, Malzahar won't really have much to do except for just like farm up, and that gives more ideas and open space for Lux to maybe even roam, or keep Malzahar busy and don't make him roam and get any sort of ganks. So let's see how that plays out, but I really like the play that Lux made so far in the mid lane.
And meanwhile, Irelia bullying out the Maokai. Here comes Rammus Flash Taunt coming in. This might be cursed for Maokai again. Another kill picked up by Irelia, and Irelia is pretty much snowballing at this point. Meanwhile, Malzahar, double root coming out, ulti coming out from both Morgana and Lux. I don't know if the Morgana ulti was necessary. Maybe they really didn't want the Malzahar to escape, and they do pick up a dragon in exchange for that kill as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Malzahar was doing there, roaming right now. Jungle is ganking. I think he tried to do a roam himself on the river side, but that just is a very bad move by him, and that basically gives away a free dragon to the Korean team right now, and gives another kill onto the Lux, who's just gonna snowball this even further. So mid lane is losing for OP newbies, the top lane is winning, and the bot lane so far is going even. So the game so far is not anyone's, as the goal lead itself shows you. It's quite dead even at the moment. So like, it'll be interesting to see how Lux uses her goal lead versus how Irelia uses it for split push. And Irelia has done a fantastic job in building nearly a double CS lead so far, and that's quite impressive considering she has 2 kills as well. And she, like, we're gonna look at her to be the person who's gonna make all the plays, and she has to be the one to take her advantage off the top lane, maybe gank bot lane with the teleport or do something about her lead, because
meanwhile,
unless she does something.
As you said, they are going for a gank. The spell immunity lasting for quite some time might even allow Morgana to escape. True shot barrage going on, not enough damage to kill Morgana. The spell shield in the end just being the deciding factor. Meanwhile, the E comes out. Twitch is in very big trouble. Meanwhile, the Lux, oh my god, that's a lot of damage from the ultimate. Meanwhile, the Rammus does go in, but gets stunned by the Amumu ultimate. Where Rammus goes down to Amumu. Twitch deals a lot of damage to the
Oh my god, did you just... Blastoise just used the plant and made Nani die right there. I think that was very...
Alright, so we're gonna replay the last team fight for you so that you can see it again.
That was just... I think OP newbies there went a little... not set up for a success. The moment Morgana shielded and ran away, and they chose to dive under the tower, and that just gave enough time for Lux and Amumu to join, and it just became hell for them right now. And they just basically lost a kill onto almost all their champions, and gave a lot of kills onto the Lux, who's currently on 4 kills. And at the end, the Taric though, he uses the Flash Code and sends Nani packing into the team of Korean Tower, which is just horrible at this point. It's like adding salt to the fuel to the fire basically. It just becomes a lot more worse for them, and they're quite close to taking the bot tower. And
one thing that's to be considered right now, it's the first time in this series that team on Korean server have actually looked to be in a comfortable lead. Like in game 1, game 2, we saw Team OP newbies taking the lead, and then in game 2, obviously they threw it away. But in this game, Korean server look much more confident, look much more cohesive as a team, and they are making the best of their advantages that they've secured so far in the game. They were okay.
Alright.
So as I was saying, like, in terms of advantages, I think Korean server are playing more towards what they're doing. Meanwhile, Twitch coming out of invisibility, pretty much scaring the Ezreal, force the Arcane Shift away. That's a lot of damage being outputted by the Twitch. Meanwhile, Ezreal has picked up a Sheen and a Tear of the Goddess. And now, right now, Twitch has much more raw damage than Ezreal at this point. But as Ezreal goes on to stack up his Tear, he will have his own sort of damage. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Morgana gets stunned, and here comes Rammus with the gank. The shield he's still waiting for the taunt. Meanwhile, Twitch is in a very good position at this point. Very good ultimate from Morgana. Twitch is still kiting around, but he might go down. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage done on the Ezreal. He still goes invis. Tarik's running for dear life. Teleport's coming in. Teleport's getting cancelled as well. That was actually very well played out by the bot lane. Twitch's positioning was right on point with that, and Morgana's ultimate did actually save him from being closed down.
Yeah, the Morgana just tells you how hard it is to gank a Morgana lane. The spell shield basically made Rammus wait till her spell shield was on, and that just gave the right opportunity to Twitch to just basically free fire into the team, and you cannot underestimate Twitch's damage right now. He's doing so much damage, and there's not a lot of armor on any of the teams, on any of Rammus, Malzahar or Tarik at the moment, so he was able to pick them off quite easily. And you can see top lane is also struggling at the moment. Like, Dead Cows had to flash away from that, and he is struggling in this matchup, and it's just looking pretty grim for OP newbies right now. Like, they are not getting the snowball like they did in the first two games, and each bot, mid and top lane seems to be doing quite well for Korean server.
I guess the second game gave Korean server a lot of confidence boost that they needed to actually get their head in the game and, you know, work better with their rotations and use their advantages to basically dominate the opponent team.
True, and it shows because the momentum is so important.
Meanwhile, Lux gets caught out with the ultimate. He might just die to this. The E-tick is enough to shut down the Lux for the Malzahar. That's much needed gold for Malzahar at this point.
That was much needed for the Malzahar. Good roam on from Tarik as well to basically guarantee the... and he really...
He might just die. Twitch has a lot of damage, remember, but he... yep, he does get to kill him.
Yeah, Twitch is gonna just look to roam right now. He's built up his static shiv as well and a BF sword. He's very powerful at the moment, and that's actually very good roam by Twitch as well, getting the Tarik as well. And they're looking to probably push out the mid lane. There's no ulti on Malzahar right now, and there's not a lot of damage as well. So that the Malzahar might die right now.
Malzahar might die. He's out of range. Oh, the true shot barrage snipes him out. And missing pings going down on the Twitch. Like, what happened back there? He didn't use the E. I think it was on cooldown when he was auto-attacking Malzahar. Otherwise, it would have been pretty much the end for Malzahar at that point because he took a lot of damage and had 5 stacks of poison on him.
That was very closely played, but however, like, Irelia started to do a split push, gets a tower top as well, has a Triforce finish, so she should be able to do well right now. This game is oscillating back and forth. The advantage that Korean server had has slightly been negated by the 2 deaths that they just faced.
And a Dragon Steal and a kill on Rammus by the Lux. Morgana's Dark Binding does get stunned, and then Lux kites out the Irelia. However, meanwhile, Irelia goes in. The ultimate's enough. Morgana flashes in, Qs, doesn't miss. And then Tarik and Irelia are giving chase. Meanwhile, here comes Twitch. Now the hurt on the Ezreal. Arcane chips away, has to flash in and doesn't really engage much. Meanwhile, the Malzahar does scare them off. Meanwhile, the Mumu tries to flash stun but does not succeed. Meanwhile, the Maokai flash W root in. Ulti being burned by Mumu. They really want to kill this Irelia, and they do. Twitch is on, and the mere presence of Twitch is actually making OP newbies back off. Like, the moment Twitch showed his face, they wanted to turn on him, but when they saw that they couldn't, they just backed off completely.
And you see Twitch going mid again right now. Deva's been ultied on, and that should be another kill coming onto the Twitch.
Yeah, the poison is enough to secure the kill on the Malzahar. Twitch is just demolishing members of OP newbies at this point, and they're gonna get the first outer mid turret.
That's just looking hard for OP newbies to make a comeback from this. You have Twitch and a 5-kill Lux were extremely fed. The carries have the amount of kills on the team, and Twitch is just wrecking havoc onto OP Newbies right now. At the moment, you don't see him coming, and that's twice that Malzo has been caught off in the mid lane. Did not anticipate that the Twitch will come and kill him so easily. So that's actually that they need to ward up around Pink a little more often, and you can see the reverse side, right? All the vision is on to Korean server right now. There's no vision that OP Newbies have accrued, and that allows them to get a free Rift Herald as well, because there's no retaliation coming out right now from OP Newbies, because they can't do anything. They're so behind right now.
And OP Newbies try to go for the exchange right now. Flash taunt in. Flash taunt into the Twitch, but the Twitch hasn't died yet, but the Aurelia does pick up the Twitch. Meanwhile, Ezreal doing a lot of damage, picks up the Amumu as well by Rammus. Meanwhile, Morgana's in trouble. She might have to flash out. Wait, her flash is on cooldown. She does get taken down. Maokai is the last one to get killed.
They actually get an ace right now.
And OP Newbies getting the ace out of nowhere might not have been a good call at Rift Herald, or might have been bad target acquisition from Team Korean server. But that was a very good fight that could turn the tides in favor of Team OP Newbies.
Yeah, really are playing really well. They're getting the right damage. Is using this ultimate and flashing in right there to get all the damage off, and that actually gives some bit of reprieve to OP Newbies. Kills come onto the Irelia, who's anyways looking to split push and be more effective in game. She can probably finish up later the Ruin King once she goes back, and it also allows OP Newbies to get the mid lane tower, which opens up a lot of vision onto the team. So this game might just not be as over as we initially thought it would be, because the team fight just seem to be winning. Like it seems to be alternating, right? Like one time OP Newbies win a team fight, the other time Korean server wins a team fight. So very interesting to see how that goes.
Maybe in that last fight, it's like pretty much like we said, if the Twitch gets caught out and Rammus decided to flash in the last fight and taunt the Twitch, I think that was the deciding factor. I think that was pretty much basically the turning point for the team OP Newbies, because they had the Twitch on lockdown, and they really was all over Twitch, so he couldn't really output the damage as much as he wanted to. Was basically stuck attacking the Rammus, taking away a lot of the HP that Twitch had. Okay, so up until the poll results right now, 67% of you think that OP Newbies are going to win this game, while 37% are still hopeful that Korean server can pretty much claw their way back into the series and win it 2-1. But we're going to be posting the link again in the chat, so please do keep on voting, because we do value however you want to see this game. Meanwhile, Morgana casts the ulti, Taric forced to ult as well, the spell immune comes in. Meanwhile, Twitch getting obliterated by Aurelia. Manages to kill the Aurelia.
Oh, he survives.
Manages to still kill the Aurelia, he's still in the game. Rammus is knocked off, and the ultimate is just pretty much wrecking face right now. And Malzahar and Ezreal are pretty much trying to get away from the menace that is Twitch at this point.
Irelia tried so hard there to jump on the Twitch, almost got him, but Twitch used his barrier and survived somehow, and he was able to even pull off his ult at the end, which obliterated the carries of OP Newbie. And that was such a close team fight. It could have gone either ways, but Korean team is the one who played that well, and they come out on top right now. So this game just got more difficult for them, but it was such a well-played team fight by Twitch, and Irelia did her best, but there was no from OP Newbies to Irelia, and everyone else was focusing on Morgana, and Twitch was able to get free fire off to the bot lane, and now he's finished 3 of his crit items at 20 minutes, and he's going to probably 2 or 3 shot both the carries of the team.
Meanwhile, the Rift Herald has been summoned at the top lane base for some reason.
The cooldown was probably down, I'm guessing. They had to use it at this point, otherwise they would have just, it would have become useless for them.
Yeah, so it's gonna have a slow walk into the top lane, because it's like the middle inhibitor tower is still on, but that's where the Rift Herald is gonna be most effective. Meanwhile, Malzahar almost getting caught, taken down to 33% HP. That's the amount of damage that the Twitch has been dealing throughout this game right now, and he's just incredibly fed at this point. 3 items at 22 minutes. That's a whole lot of damage coming out from the Twitch, and a whole lot of pain.
Agreed completely, and OP Newbies are just not understanding that in the mid lane, the Twitch could be there. You can't end up thinking Morgana is alone there. The Twitch has to be there. They have to give that level of respect, and I think Deba so far has.
Meanwhile, Lux does get caught out, and the ulti, as we all saw, it did go in the opposite direction. Meanwhile, the Twitch damage is insane. Tarek almost getting taken down. Might die to the point. He does. Rammus is in trouble. Amumu's on him, but the Malzahar uses the ulti on the Amumu. Maokai, meanwhile, going in for the Ezreal, follows his arcane shift. He has to auto-attack him. He's covering off the escape with the sapling. The auto-attack is enough to finish him down. Aurelia wanted to go for the Morgana. His binding comes in. The Twitch is following up. The Twitch might be able to get the Aurelia as well. The double kill results for Twitch, and he is just snowballing out of control for this game. That was incredibly well played, especially lucky since Maokai got the Ezreal in the middle of the arcane shift. He was able to follow up and then just take Ezreal out of the game, and this is free Baron for Team Korean Server.
And Twitch has played the team fight so well. He put out his ultimate. It basically rendered Ezreal useless in the team fight. Whereas I think Irelia was probably looking at the wrong target, could not find the Twitch, and ended up going after the Morgana, which basically meant that no one was hitting on the Twitch, and he was free to hit almost all the carries off OP newbies, and that just basically means Baron for Korean Server, and that should be probably the final lane in the cockpit for them to win this game. And Twitch has played outstandingly well this game. His positioning and his damage in team fights is the game changer for all the reasons. The reason why Korean Server is actually winning this game right now.
Alright, so if you're just joining us, we are in game number 3 of OP Newbies versus today on Korean Server. Today on Korean Server, obviously having a huge goal lead at this point. 9 kills ahead, 2 dragons in, and 4 turrets to 2. They are basically in the control seat right now, which is a stark contrast to the games 1 and 2, where they were on the back foot. In game 2, obviously they made a comeback, which triggers this game 3. And now we're awaiting what is next in this topsy-turvy of a game, as we see team fight after team fight being conceded and won by both teams at this point.
Yeah, that should be another drag for them. Let's see how Korean Server uses the Baron to get the outer turrets as well as the inhibitor turrets of OP newbies, whereas OP newbies are trying to do a bush cheese gank and see if someone in their team is going to get caught out, but it doesn't look like Korean Server is going to fall for that, as they seem to be doing the right thing and getting the Maokai into a side lane. Having said that, Amumu just jumps in.
But still, the follow-up damage from Lux is so much, and the Twitch just gets a triple kill. He is unstoppable at this point. He's just doing 2 shots, 3 shots. There we go. Malzahar is in deep trouble. Quadra kill coming out. Pentakill might
get the penta.
Pentakill is pretty much out of reach at this point.
Oh, no, he runs away. So they had the Mumu right there to get it. Missed. Walk away and juke that pretty easily, and that basically meant that Lux could end up binding and ult them, and then followed up with the Twitch ult, and that was just it. So nothing really going well for OP newbies at this point. It's like their last ditch effort to do a tank also as well, so not really working out well. Well, that's a very good flash right there, but Ezreal barely survives that gank, right? Barely survives that damage right there, and that should be the mid inhibitor tower coming out for Korean Server right now. They're also gonna take the mid inhibitor, so the inhibitor goes down, and the Twitch is just impossible to deal with at this point. Unless they get the right jump on him, there's nothing that they can do to stop this Twitch from doing insane amounts of damage to the team.
And a pause timer coming in. And that fight was pretty insane coming in there. They were obviously waiting for a 5-man gank onto the Amumu, but Tariq just walked upwards. Did you notice that? If he walked straight on, it didn't walk up, he could have landed the stun on the Amumu and things might have gone differently. But he walked up in the last second. Amumu was just standing there. You're like, okay, you didn't stun me, I'm gonna stun you back. And the Lux ulti came in. Meanwhile, Twitch just played cleanup and got the triple right there, and the Quadra eventually. You know, Amumu might just be in trouble if Tariq misses the stun. He doesn't miss it this time. Amumu is going to die. Man, Square Pants really overconfident in his positioning right there. Might have overstayed his welcome and promptly gets punished by OP newbies.
And still doesn't change the fact that OP newbies are in a very spot right now, and late game as well, like Twitch is just outscaling almost everyone right now, and unless they get the right team fight where they get Twitch, they're not going to be able to win this game. So they need to have the right engage, they need to have the right vision control to be able to get the right engage right now. So they should be looking to ward up their entire jungle and get as much information as they can so that they can make the right pick onto the Twitch, because without any vision, there is no way that they're going to ever win this kind of a team fight. Like the only way to do that is to probably do a teleport flank from the backside where they can ideally can jump onto the Twitch and try to kill him in some instance, and the rest of the team can follow up as well. So they need to look for that kind of an engage or that kind of a team fight. Otherwise, this might be GG for OP newbies.
Yeah, and at this point, even Rammus has the flash up, but okay, there we go. The flash is also there. Suppression coming in, Malzahar ultis, but it's not enough to take out the Twitch. This might prove very costly for OP newbies.
They get the Twitch. Oh, they know it.
They do not end up getting the Twitch, but that is a lot of damage done on the Morgana. They're now going on the Maokai. Twitch is still invisible, still waiting for a binding on Lux so they can cast his ulti and do something about it. But he's not there. Amumu is still chasing in. He might have gone in too soon and just gets shut down by Irelia. Meanwhile, Amumu re-engages in. Lux is already at full HP still, and even though it's a 3v5, somehow Korean server are still winning out this fight. Lux is dealing out damage after damaging spells. With even the full HP, ulti goes down, doesn't kill anyone. Meanwhile, Amumu flashes in, flash stun does work, and he takes out Irelia. What a high octane fight, even though it was 3v5. Korean server come out on top.
Twitch was so lucky to survive that. He used the Blast Cone at the end to avoid the Irelia from doing more damage onto him, and he was still able to get some damage out. But that's a very good engage onto the Twitch. The flash taunt coming there from Bazigar is pretty good, and the QSS was used, and then the ulti was followed up by Malzahar. So there's no surviving that right now, and that was probably like as close as they could get to killing the Twitch, and they probably did. But they need a lot more of that. But Amumu was not in the team fight. He actually joined later because he was dead from the previous fight. So the moment he came back, they were able to come back from the...
Meanwhile, Tarek tries to go for the stun, doesn't succeed in doing so. Malzahar is going to completely just walk in and try to get the ult on the Lux. As you can see, already ulted Lux. Lux has forced to use the Zanya. He doesn't have the flash on. It's going to be curtains for flash.
That's so much damage.
What? He almost killed a Malzahar even though he died. Meanwhile, Irelia going ham on the Morgana. Morgana using the ultimate to hold her in place. The binding and the ult will ensure that Irelia doesn't move for a couple seconds. Meanwhile, Twitch is hovering around in the middle side, but promptly gets back as he spots out Rammus making that rolling advance.
That's actually a good kill coming out there for OP newbies. They need a little ice and basically ran to the Malzahar, because without damage, even if they get good picks, they might not be able to burst down any member of Korean server. And Lux will also need to watch the positioning. They overstayed their stay on the top lane inhibitor, did not get the turret as well, and they ended up dying because of it. So there are small mistakes being made from Korean server as well that can be exploited by OP newbies if they get the right flanks or the right ganks onto them. And having said that, Baron is up. That probably should be the next objective coming out for Korean server. They need to farm that up. I think they're just trying to look to push top lane out because it's just a couple of waters away from dying. However, I would probably look to get the Baron as soon as you can, or try to make a pick around of that.
Yeah, and now that Rammus' flash is down, Twitch can now position himself again as well as he has been doing this entire game. Like, the flash was the only deterrent to his current positioning because it's so unpredictable and you can just flash in out of a wall and no one would notice you until it's too late. So that's what's happening right now. They're going to the Baron call, and OP newbies aren't going to let this one slide. They want to promptly respond, but Irelia is too far away and they just back off, letting Korean server take a free Baron. That's probably going to be costly. Depends on how they use this Baron though.
But at this point, I think it's the right thing to do because they had no vision. Blind into that, they could simply get picked off again and it would have just been over for them right then and there. So I think they're still looking to bank their chances on them getting another team fight off, because Baron will make things more difficult but it doesn't really end the game for them. They still need to play around Baron quite well, and it just gives a little more time to OP newbies to farm up and get more items. So I think that's a smart thing that they did not like jump in and completely go into that call of following, and they're just looking to farm out and do the right thing. So you never know, like if Rammus gets another excellent engage off, because the Twitch does not have flash for at least another minute, and that's an opportunity that can be exploited at the right time. So they are looking to do, they can make those kind of engages if need be, or simply just farm up a little more. So I really has taken the blue buff, and let's see, like, mid lane inhibitor has respawned, so that could be another point of contention for Korean server, as well as them pushing out the bot lane. The top lane, however, is in favor of OPN. UPs is pushing for them, so the top lane will have to be looked at. But I think right now Korean server is just looking to push out the bot and the mid lane simultaneously, and trying to at least get the mid lane inhibitor again.
At this point, it looks like Israel has a Triforce and a Manamune, but that is pretty decent damage. But when compared to Twitch's damage right now, it's just nothing.
Yeah, Twitch has completed his entire build right now, and Israel is like probably just half of his build, and the disparity in the items between the ADCs is way too high, and I think that should be the bottleneck to it, because with a Lux and a Morgana, there's not a lot you can do to stop them from sieging onto your turret, but they just have Twitch to do that damage. There is a flash onto the Rammus. Will he be able to taunt someone? He doesn't.
He does taunt the Maokai though. That leaves Twitch free to deal a lot of damage. Teamfight's gonna go out. Double root coming in. 4 men stunned by Amumu. Meanwhile, Aurelia going in but does not survive the onslaught of the Twitch. Twitch is now free to obliterate every single member of Team OP newbies. Malzahar gets promptly taken down by the flash binding, and another quadra kill coming down for Twitch, and this is GG for Team Korea server. What a comeback! Coming down from 1 game down, coming in a comeback from game 2, and just dominating in game 3.
Yeah, that's an actually very good comeback from Korean server. You did not expect after game 1 that they'd be able to come back so well from this game, and this game was just a Twitch show right now. So well played by them, and then that's it. They deserve to be the bronze champions of the Indian League, and well played to Korean server. The Twitch guy doing really well for them, and they were able to conserve and stamina and like find a way to win the series 2-1.
6 Karma 9 playing the pivotal role in Team Korean servers eventual clawing back into the series and winning it 2-1. So that's it for today, but So we're going to check if the Bangladeshi match is still going on, and if it is, we will be streaming that right here, and if it's not, then it's going to be good night from us all. So stay tuned and see if we do get the Bangladeshi match.